at this point in our recent history, Muslim and Jewish youth, especially the next generation, has absolutely no productive interaction with each other. That is a big issue. Their opinions about each other are mainly driven by stereotypes, by misconceptions, resulting in mostly widespread misunderstanding and more than just often hatred. We as the Muslim Jewish Conference are, at the moment, the only internationally operating grassroots-based and student-driven NGO that actually is trying to tackle this issue from a grassroots perspective. And I think so far, and please at some point I hope to be corrected and wrong, but at the moment we are the only ones who are bringing Muslims from Iraq, Iran, Saudi Arabia, Afghanistan, Pakistan, Lebanon or Libya, for example, together with Jews from South Africa, Brazil, the US, Europe and other places in the world. Just right now, recently we had a conference in Vienna where I think it's safe to say that at the height in the middle of the Gaza war, we have been the only interfaith initiative which was up, alive, running and kicking, with 140 youth leaders and representatives from 38 countries, meeting in Vienna, discussing issues like the Middle East conflict, discussing issues like Islamophobia and anti-Semitism or anti-Muslim racism, however you want to define it, racism in its all forms based on faith and other combining factors. And I think for us it's been very, very interesting to see that there is no competition on an international level in a work like this. I think it's very, very easy to not take an initiative seriously where we simply come together and talk to each other instead of about each other. It's hard for us to make people understand that building a movement of Muslim and Jewish activists who are actually aware of what's happening, who are advocating for tolerance, who are standing up against anti-Semitism in countries like Pakistan. That takes a while, and it's also important to deal with these individuals in length. So what we do is we really humanize the other one in a safe space, which is independent from the established Jewish and Muslim organizations. It's a grassroots effort. And I think our most successful outcome of this is to actually have Muslim youth leaders stand up and speak against anti-Semitism. We have experienced, and I think, if I may be blunt with this, not been very successful as Jewish people in the last 5 years trying to ask people to stop being rude to us, or asking them to please stop being anti-Semitic. The question if this strategy and approach is going to be successful in the decades to come is not that clear. Having Muslim leaders, young leaders, people who are actually going to have a say and an impact in their own societies, stand up in the capacities that they have. It's different to lobby and advocate for Muslim-Jewish relations or against anti-Semitism in the main square in Vienna than in Islamabad. It's different to do this in Geneva or in Riyadh. But having people who are willing to basically risk everything to come back home, talk to their family, talk to their friends, talk to their colleagues, and at some point institutionalize this view in their work, that is really, I think, the long-term effort where we're going at. And this includes things like, please cut me off whenever I'm out of time, because I have no feeling anymore for that. This includes things like remembering together. This includes things like going to Mauthausen as a joint delegation, bringing people from countries that don't even have seen a Jew before to places like Mauthausen or Babi Yar in Kiev. We went to Srebrenica together in Sarajevo, so it's a two-way street, and to commemorate together, and to understand that the feelings of the other one can be respected without having to share them. And that you can actually entertain a thought of the other one, even if it's about a conflict that you feel very strongly about, without having to accept that thought. But still, it's a chance to talk to the other one about it. And the barriers, I think, we've seen that it works. We've had 5 years of this work. We are the only organization in world grassroots. I think that is an issue to think about. Why there is not another organization, when we found out that we are the only ones doing this right now, at the one hand, we were happy because we could do whatever we wanted without competition. On the other hand, it was very, very alarming to see that there is no other organization trying to bring a Brazilian Jew together with a Pakistani Muslim. Last point I say, I think Muslim-Jewish relations, interfaith dialogue needs to be taken seriously. It's not an afternoon kumbaya activity anymore, where people come together, have a nice quiche, drink the kosher and halal, something Jews, and then go back to their communities. It's become crucial. Anti-Semitism is not a problem of a small, radicalized Muslim group. It's front and center as well as anti-Muslim racism. It's spread and it's been there since centuries. Now that's alarming, but on the other hand, and I'll finish with that, it's easy to combat. We've managed to get people to the Muslim-Jewish conference and broke in 1 week stereotypes, racism, and prejudices that they were educated in for more than 25 or 30 countries. So yes, anti-Semitism is one of the biggest problems we're facing right now, and it's spread. It's not just a small group, but it's as easy to combat and to get out of the heads, and that is by giving the resources to young people, to interfaith initiatives, to grassroots initiatives, which still have the energy and also the will to try what many and so many still call is impossible. I think we've proven it's not impossible, and I want to thank everyone for having us here and giving us a chance to re-emphasize that. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I think it's important to have this network, especially with youngsters, young people, to do that, and because this is our future. And so this is also the case of